going on, everyone? It's DK with RPM Gaming. We're talking about retro PC and mobile gaming, and today we're talking about GameSir's new G7 Pro Tri-Mode controller. It's designed with Xbox in mind. So do me a favor, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's open this up and see what we got. This is an Xbox style controller, and it's supposed to be really good for not having any stick drift. As you can see right here, it says the anti-stick drift experts. So let's open this up and see what we got here. And so out of the box, you've got your instruction manual, your free month of Game Pass Ultimate, 2 different styles of the D-pad, your USB dongle, an extra long USB-C to USB-A charging cable, the charging dock, and of course the controller. And so along with all this other cool stuff, GameSir also sent over 4 different styles of the Ruby Universal Thumb Grips. The G7 has TMR thumbsticks with an anti-friction ring around them. Our face buttons have a really smooth and glossy texture to them. They're an optical micro switch connection, and this D-pad is using that same style connection here. We've got our Xbox and menu button, our buttons we'll use for start and select, our screen share button, and then our M button. And the M button here is used in combination with our face buttons to switch profiles on the fly. You'll also use this for turbo mode and for programming buttons on the controller as well. Around on the bottom here, we've got a 3.5mm audio jack, a mute button, and our Bluetooth pairing button. On the top of the controller here, we've got our left and right shoulder buttons, our left and right trigger buttons, and the new L5 and R5 buttons here, which are a micro switch connection. The shoulders and triggers have a nice grippy texture to them. We've got a USB-C connection here on the front, and these little slots here on the controller are used for an attachment that we'll take a look at a little bit later. Around on the back of the controller, we've got our toggle switch to go between the 2.4 GHz dongle and Bluetooth connection. We've got L4 and R4 buttons, and we've also got toggle switches to lock these buttons out. When you slide them over, they won't move at all. And up top here, we've got our trigger locks. And when you slide these into place here, these turn these from analog to digital triggers. And these make these feel like a true digital trigger with that micro switch connection, instead of just putting a stopping point on the trigger when you push it down. And back on the front of the controller here, we've got a magnetic faceplate that's removable, and that'll just slide right off. And then both sides of the grips come off on the controller as well. Same magnetic connection. And inside the controller here, you can see we've got dual rumble motors on each side of the controller here. And having the faceplate and the grips off kind of gives this controller a Darth Vader look, in my opinion. We've got 3 different styles of D-pads that come with this controller. This is the Shield style, which is my personal favorite here. Then you've got the more traditional cross-style D-pad. We've got a volume up, a volume down, a game volume increase, and a voice volume increase. And these controls are used for gaming on the headset. And then last, we've got a combination of the Shield and the traditional style D-pad. And we have the same headset and mic volume controls that can be used with the M button. In order to switch these D-pads out, with the faceplate cover off, you'll simply just lift it out. You can see on the bottom here, there are 4 little pegs that slide into the holes on the controller here. And each D-pad will only go on one way, because the top peg on the D-pad is made a little bit different than the rest of them. And the top slot on the controller has a notch cut out of it for that different style peg on the D-pad. So you'll take whichever D-pad you're wanting to use and just set it into place and then push it down and you're ready to go. These thumbsticks are supposed to be able to pop off, but mine seem pretty stiff and I don't want to damage the controller. When you have that traditional cross-style D-pad on there, to me that looks a little funny. Kind of got the hollow spaces around it with the faceplate there. So the Shield or the combo D-pad looks the best on here to me. But this one is definitely my favorite. It's got that concave top and it's just so smooth. Let's take a look at the thumbstick covers that GameSir sent over with this controller. They sent over 4 different pairs. One has a little nub cap on the top of it there. Another style is a convex type, kind of a dome shape. Another is just like the thumbsticks that are on the controller, just a little bit bigger. And then last, we've got this one that'll really make it stand up a lot taller. And these are rubber. In order to get these on the thumbsticks, you just kind of pry it back like that and then set it on top. And you can see it definitely makes it stand up a lot taller. I don't really use these thumbstick covers, but they are a nice addition if it's something you're into. The dock for the GameSir G7 Pro is pretty much the same as all the other ones we've seen. You got your 4 charging pins up top here, your GameSir chicken symbol on the front, your light bar at the bottom. Around back you've got a USB-C port for charging and hooking directly to your computer. And then on the bottom you've got a compartment for your USB dongle. And this is a USB-A type dongle. You can just line it up and then press it in. And when it's connected to power, just like usual, when you set the controller on the dock, the light bar will come on to indicate charging. The G7 Pro is what GameSir is calling their tri-mode controller. And what that means is you'll be able to connect with Bluetooth 5.3, with a USB 2.4 GHz dongle, or with this 9-foot braided USB-A to USB-C charging cable. And using this cable is the only way that you'll be able to connect this controller to Xbox. If you're worried about messing up the USB connection here on the front of the controller, that's where this little attachment comes in handy. You can put the little attachment right on the front of the controller and then press it down into place. Once in place, the attachment helps stabilize the cord. Now, as far as the contra test goes, it didn't really work out with that shield style D-pad, but with the combination style, if you're pressing it down like this at the bottom and you rock it back and forth, you'll have a little bit of movement. But if you're pressing down but you got your fingers slid up just a little bit more, it will fail the contra test terribly. But you can hit diagonals with ease with this style of D-pad. So let's see how it does in some action. Diagonals are super easy to hit on here, like I said. But if you're running down through here and you go to hit down and you don't hit it just right, you can make a mistake and wind up catching a bullet. I think I could get used to this style of D-pad on a game like this. But there you go. One wrong move on the D-pad and you catch a bullet. Test out this D-pad on a little Street Fighter and see how easy we can hit these moves. With a micro switch connection D-pad like this, it's pretty easy to hit them. Not so easy to try to keep your camera in focus and do it at the same time though. But yeah, I'm not having any trouble hitting these moves with Ryu here. He's no Ken Masters, but he'll get the job done. No problem. Playing a little bit of Returnal, taking a look at the gyros on the G7 controller here. As you can see, it is pretty accurate. This is actually a lot better than the 8-bit Do's Ultimate 2 in my opinion. And don't mistake my terrible aim for a lack of gyro control here. But as you can see, full 360 on the aiming, pretty good. Let's jump over and take a look at some driving controls with the gyro on the G7. Here we are in a little Forza Horizon 4, testing out the gyro on this controller. And in my opinion, the gyro is just better than the gyro on the 8-bit Do Ultimate 2. And you can see when we're moving that controller to the left and to the right here, that car follows right along with it. And for driving gyro controls, these seem pretty accurate to me. I don't see a whole lot of lag in it. But like I said before, I don't use gyro a whole lot. So let's see how we do with a little speed on this. And yeah, it's a lot harder to handle at those higher speeds. So if I want to be using gyro in a driving game like this, I'm probably going to be using it along with the stick steering as well. Because as you can tell right here, if not, I'm coming in hot like them Duke boys. I've been using the G7 for a little while now, and it's becoming one of my favorite controllers to use. So here's a little side-by-side comparison against my all-time favorite, the 8-bit Do Ultimate Wireless 2 controller. Both controllers are using the TMR thumbsticks and they have the anti-friction ring. The G7 has that micro switch connection for the face button and D-pad. And while I prefer a stiffer D-pad like this, I really love this shield style D-pad on the G7. Both controllers have the addition of the new buttons on the top here, the L5 and R5 buttons here. And both controllers have the toggle switches on the back to turn these triggers from analog to digital. But what I really like about the G7 is that micro switch connection it makes. Now this feels kind of like a micro switch connection on the 8-bit Do, but this is an actual true micro switch connection when you turn that trigger from an analog to a digital trigger. I really like that. Now as far as the software experience for programming the controllers, I gotta say that the G7 Nexus software is a lot better than 8-bit Do's software. It's more comprehensive, especially on the motion controls. So let's jump over and take a look at that now. Now when you first open up the software, this is what you're gonna see. You'll click your controller symbol with a square around it, and then it'll open up this page here. And as you can see at the top, we've got 4 different spots for profiles. Right now I've got 2 set up, one for aiming and then one for driving. You can see over here on the left side it says M+. You can use that M button in conjunction with the Y, B, X, and A buttons to switch profiles on the fly. Over here is our vibration settings overview, where you can choose to have just the top rumble motors active, or you can sync the top and bottom on the left and right sides. And when we click on the vibrations tab, it'll take us into the submenu, and we've got a few more options in here, as well as a diagram of the controller where you can see that the left rumble motor looks a little bit bigger than the right. And over here on the left, we can adjust that vibration strength of each individual motor on the left and right sides of the controller, as well as test out these settings on the controller itself to make sure that the rumble combination and vibration strength are to your liking. Moving on over here to our gyro section, up here at the top you can see we've got an aim tab and a tilt tab. We're going to set up our aim first, and when you do that, you want to have full 360 gyro on. And in the output mode box, when you have arrows around and through your controller, this is full 360 gyro. When you click it once and you have arrows going around your controller, this is for the yaw. Click it once more and you have arrows going through your controller, This is for the roll. Gyro will only work for the one that you have selected. So we're going to select that 360 and we've got our hold to turn on. And then for our activate button, we're going to use that left trigger. And for our output, you can cycle between the left stick, the right stick, the D-pad, or mouse mode, which is probably what you're going to want to use for gyro aiming. Now moving over to the tilt option in the gyro section here, when we turn this on, it will automatically turn off our aim gyro. So in order to switch between both of them on the fly, we'll need to head back over to the main menu and there create a new profile. And once we've done that, we'll head back over to our gyro menu and then select our tilt option. And in here, it doesn't matter if you have the yaw or the roll turned on, you'll be able to use both of them. We're just not able to use that full 360 gyro motion in the tilt option. So I've got mine set to hold to turn on, L4 to activate, and then the left stick for the output. And just like before, you're able to see your results on the controller here. Now if you're using this controller with Xbox, your polling rate's going to be stuck at 250 Hz. Out of the box, the controller comes set at 500 Hz, but in here in this setting is where you can up it to 1000 Hz polling rate. Up here in the top right is where you can adjust the brightness of your LED light bar on your dock and decide whether you want your controller to come on automatically when you take it off the dock or not. The icons at the top right are where you'll do your firmware upgrade, reset your controller to default, or do your button test, as well as calibrate your controller. Inside the button test menu, you'll hold down the M button and the menu button to select what you want to calibrate. After that, just follow the on-screen prompts. One thing I did forget to mention earlier is that you can set the triggers on this controller to be adaptive triggers. And while they aren't anything like the PS5's adaptive triggers, it's still nice to have the option to do so. The adaptive triggers on this controller are more like a combination of the hair trigger and the analog triggers put together. And so yeah, you can see the software experience on the G7 Pro is a lot more comprehensive than 8BitDo's software. Alright everyone, so it's a tie for my favorite controller between 8BitDo's new Ultimate Wireless 2 controller and the GameSir G7 Pro. So let me know what you guys think, what kind of controller you guys are using, which is your favorite. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time on RPM Gaming.